Have you ever seen a Swiss Army knife? Maybe you have one. You know, they're pretty cool things. It's one thing with multifunctional blades and tools. You know, the cross is kind of like a Swiss Army knife. And I'm hoping maybe we're beginning to see that as we go through this theme this year during the Lenten season here at Trinity. What do you see? What do you see when you see the cross? The Apostle Peter writes in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 24, He, speaking of Christ, He Himself bore our sins in His body on the cross, so that we might die to sins and live for righteousness. By His wounds you have been healed. There's healing to be found in the cross. There's spiritual healing, physical healing, but also emotional healing and relational healing. The last two videos, we saw the cross as a place to find spiritual healing, forgiveness, and the removal of guilt. And through receiving the benefits of what Christ accomplished for us on the cross, we're healed from the sin disease. We're declared right with God. The cross is also a place to find physical healing from the consequences of sin. Once we begin to process how we have been forgiven by God, it can help us to find healing from things that have physically manifested in us. I read a couple of articles recently from people connected with the Johns Hopkins Hospital and the Mayo Clinic. And they wrote on the rewards of forgiveness on our physical health. Both sources say that long-held resentment and unresolved conflict can affect our physical health. And the acts of forgiveness can lead to physical and health benefits for our heart, for our blood pressure, levels of anxiety and depression and stress. They spoke about forgiveness. But what is forgiveness? It's a conscious decision to let go, to release anger and bitterness and resentment and hostility, to no longer hold something over someone. It has nothing to do with forgetting. It has nothing to do with excusing or minimizing what may have happened to us. It's really about releasing and releasing control. We can carry so many things that can burden us down in our minds and our hearts and in our spirits. King David carried unconfessed sin, and he said in Psalm 32, it was like his bones were wasting away. There was this heaviness, and his strength was sapped as in the heat of summer. But when he brought it to God and confessed, he was released, and he felt God's love and His forgiveness, and it brought praise back into his life. When we open up to God, there can be healing. When we open up and share with other people, maybe things going on in our life, there can be healing from tension and stress and worry. The Apostle Peter again writes in 1 Peter 5:7, he says, cast all your cares upon Him because He cares about you. He does. He's concerned. See, the cross is a place to unburden because it's where He took our burden upon Himself. So whatever you may be carrying today, bring it to the cross. Lay it at the cross. Lay it at the feet of Jesus. And accept His gift of freedom and healing that He wants you to know, that He wants you to have. He wants you to be at peace. He wants you to be whole and well. May you give that to Him today, and may His peace and His love and His forgiveness and His grace be upon you. God's peace.